Philippines assets in the southern IOR, approximately 900 nautical miles from India. This was in response to a sinking Chinese fishing vessel with 39 crew members who were on board. The crew included nationals from China, Indonesia and Philippines. P-8I aircraft that carried out multiple and extensive searches despite adverse weather conditions and located multiple objects possibly belonging to a sunken vessel. As an immediate response, SAR equipment was deployed at the scene by the Indian aircraft on the request of PLAN ships closing the area in a display of India's obligation as a credible and responsible partner for ensuring safety at the sea. Indian Navy units coordinated SAR efforts with other units in the area and guided PLAN warships transiting to the scene of the incident, where Indian Navy remained deployed to provide all possible assistance to the ongoing SAR efforts. In a very, very gracious move, India helped with providing aid to a Chinese vessel that had capsized, and the Indian Navy deployed its air maritime reconnaissance assets in the southern IOR, approximately 900 nautical miles from India, in response to a sinking Chinese fishing vessel that had 39 crew members on board. These were crew members who were nationals from China, Indonesia and Philippines. And it is the P-8I aircraft carried out multiple and extensive searches despite adverse weather conditions and located multiple objects possibly belonging to that sunken vessel.
Hair Life India নিজস্ব সেন্টারে আসুন। কোনো সার্জারি, মেডিসিন, ব্যথা, পার্শ্ব প্রতিক্রিয়া ছাড়াই non-surgical hair replacement. Hair Life India.
We are putting out those pictures for our viewers that Republic has been able to access, as it was an immediate response where SAR equipment was deployed at the scene by the Indian aircraft on request of PLA ships closing the area, and in a display of India's obligation as a credible and responsible partner for ensuring safety at the seas.
Yes, we're getting in more details right now, and this is the picture that we have shared with us. And Abhishek is sharing the details right now, and this is the picture that we have. If you can see this picture on the surface, and it basically shows the details of the operation, and what we know and what we hear, and the details picked up by us. Swift humanitarian action on the 17th of May. The Indian Navy deployed its air maritime recon assets in the southern Indian Ocean region. This is approximately about 9,000 nautical miles from mainland India. This was in response to sinking of a Chinese fishing vessel, which is called the Lu Peng Yuan Yu 028. That's the name of the fishing vessel. It's Lu Peng Yuan Yu 028. There were 39 crew members on board, and the crew includes nationals from China, Indonesia, Philippines, so different nationalities. They were stranded and in distress, and the P-8I aircraft of the Indian Navy carried out multiple extensive searches despite adverse weather.
They located multiple objects possibly belonging to the sunken vessel, and as an immediate response, the equipment was deployed at the scene by the Indian aircraft at the request of the PLAN ships. That's Chinese naval ships closing the area, and in a display of our obligations as a credible and responsible partner. And if I can show the map also, please, what you see on screen is a P-8I aircraft which was deployed in the operation. But the map, if you can take it 50-50 on screen, the map shows the region where the operation took place. This is Cape Comorin, and 900 nautical miles from the mainland, and about 287 nautical miles from Diego Garcia, and close to the Maldives. That's where the Chinese fishing vessel Lu Peng Yuan Yu 028. That was the last known location. I'm going to go across to Abhishek, also joining us with the details. Abhishek, they've basically India going all out to help the Chinese, mostly the Chinese Chinese fishing vessel and the Chinese warship also coordinated with our Navy is what we are picking up. If you can tell us the significance of this operation and what we've done to go out of our way and do this time. Abhishek.
Ranjan, so the most significant aspect is that China called for support and help in terms of search and rescue operation. And the request came in from the People's Liberation Army Navy, which is planned. And Indian Navy immediately got into action, and our reconnaissance and other search and rescue assets were deployed in assistance of the Chinese operation. We facilitated their movement and their search and rescue operations, though unfortunately I'm being told that as yet there is no word on survivors of the 39 on board this Chinese fishing vessel. There were 17 Chinese nationals, 17 Indonesian nationals, and 5, I believe, Filipino citizens of Philippines. So I think there are as yet no reports on survivors. But then the manner in which India really came around responding immediately to the Chinese request for assistance in search and rescue, it really shows that India remains committed to being a credible support system in the larger Indian Ocean region for responsible conduct, and to make sure that in times of crisis, our naval assets are available to all those in distress, irrespective of what kind of relationship we have. Remember, ad nauseum, our External Affairs Minister has emphasized that the relationship between India and China is not normal and is not going to be normal till the time that complete de-escalation and disengagement happens from the heights in Ladakh. And yet, when the Chinese fishing vessel sunk and the Chinese requested help in terms of search and rescue, the Indian Navy immediately acted, and as a responsible partner for ensuring safety at seas, our naval assets were deployed to coordinate the search and rescue efforts with other units in the area. And we, in fact, guided the planned warships, the People's Liberation Army naval warships, and we helped them transit to the incident site, which is about, as you mentioned, Ranjan, 900 nautical miles exactly south of Kanyakumari, and just about less than 300 nautical miles from the Diogo Garcia Island, which is, of course, an American base, as we know. So I think in that sense, this is a great example of how responsibly we conduct in our neighborhood, and that's why that also really buttresses our claims that the larger Indo-Pacific region should remain absolutely free and open, and we have really led by example with this conduct of the Indian Navy in coming to the rescue of People's Liberation Army Navy and assisting them in their search and rescue operation when the Chinese fishing vessel, as it happened, sunk in the deep sea, Ranjan.
Abhishek, in the larger scheme of things, looking at the ties that historically, especially in the last few years, between the Indian and Chinese forces, for example, given whatever was happening at the LAC, this coordination, cooperation, and reaction from India augurs perhaps, well, it's of huge symbolism. If you can, throw a little light on that, on why this means, more than what we see here.
Not being normal, despite India underscoring so many times that the Chinese conduct in eastern Ladakh has been unbecoming and not compatible with the kind of understanding and the agreements that we have had between the two sides, and that this unilateral attempt at changing the status quo is unwarranted and is not going to be accepted. Despite that, when a situation emerges where India has to help in the Indian Ocean region, we did not really let the lack of normalcy between India and China to hinder our conduct in terms of being responsible and credible partner in providing net stability and security and safety in the Indian Ocean region. And that's why our naval assets really were immediately mobilized. We can see, for example, the reconnaissance aircraft going over the area and assisting the Chinese ships, the warships, in fact, to reach the site of unfortunate sinking of the Chinese fishing vessel, which is identified as Lu Peng Yuan U028, and to help in the relief and rescue. I don't know, as I said, Niranjan, as yet there are no reports of survivors coming to the shore, but Indian naval assets, including our reconnaissance aircraft, have helped the Chinese Navy, which is People's Liberation Army Navy, locate some of the some articles, some equipment, some belongings, some parts of the ship which has gone down in the waters. Reports suggest that there might not be survivors, but then at least if we can help the Chinese Navy get closest to the ship, and even that in itself, and of course if we can get some of the survivors, nothing would be better than that. But irrespective, what is important is that we have shown with our conduct that we are responsible and we are credible partners when it comes to providing net safety and security in the larger Indian Ocean region, and that's how everyone should be in the larger Indo-Pacific region.
The effort and has joined a multi-nation effort to locate this sunken Chinese vessel, the Indian Ocean region, a very large region, a region that was hit by a fairly heavy cyclone also recently, which has made the waters there very choppy. We'll share further updates with you on this story, viewers. I thank Niranjan and Abhishek Kapoor for joining us. Meanwhile, viewers, you'll remember how just about 24 hours back, Imran Khan addressed a briefing after the Pakistani government claimed that he was holding 30 to 40 terrorists in his home, and he said that this could be my last briefing before my arrest. Well, the Pakistan Punjab government's countdown to a potential operation has now expired, and from what we are hearing and from what we are seeing in Lahore at the Zaman Park residence of